New South Wales Transport Minister Andrew Constance has quit state politics. He has announced that he will run for the federal seat of Gilmore, which the Prime Minister has warmly welcomed. And joining us live now is the Liberal candidate for Gilmore, Andrew Constance. Andrew, good to see you. Appreciate your time as always. I suppose given the events of last year, I've got to ask you, have you had any second thoughts about your decision?
Look, Peter, first of all, I'm not the Liberal candidate. I've got to talk to the local Liberal Party branches because there's a selection process. But look, in terms of my decision, I mean, last year was a very traumatic year, as you know. I'm currently down at the Lower Bay, where we're at the epicentre of the Black Summer fires, and I think the dynamics will be different without the competitive tension with the National Party as we saw in Eden Monaro. But look, I live in the Gilmore electorate, and I've been the local member here as a state member for 18 and a half years, 10 and a half years as a cabinet minister. Obviously, what we saw happen to Gladys on Friday brought this to a head, and this is my time to leave state parliament, and I've still got a burning desire within me, and there's a lot of things I want to get out there and fight for, particularly at the local level.
So you haven't changed your mind though yet?
Peter, absolutely. You will see a determination in me. If you look at my record, I mean, it's Disability Services Minister who delivered the NDIS for the state. I was the Treasurer who worked hard with Mike Baird on the Poles and Wires transaction, freeing up billions and billions of dollars to build the infrastructure, which we're now seeing come to fruition. Being the Transport and Infrastructure Minister, I don't think anyone can question my determination in politics. And certainly in terms of the national scene, I'll have a very significant focus in on local infrastructure, given the infrastructure experience that I can bring from my time at a state level.
If you could go back, if there was one thing you could change, what would it be?
I think it's our trauma response when we have national disasters. I think there's got to be a greater focus on that. I've seen too many people hurt badly in the last couple of years. It wouldn't matter if it was from the pandemic through to the Black Summer fires. As Australians, we don't tend to, I think, talk openly about the impact of trauma and mental health across our community. Having been, as I said, one of the architects of what was supposed to be a person-centred approach, a control and choice approach for people with disability under the National Disability Insurance Scheme, I'm very much in support of trying to find ways to look after the individual. And when it comes to our own mental health and wellbeing, I think we've got an incredible spotlight on it at the moment. We've got to make sure that our government does better in this regard, no matter if it's state, federal or local. And, these are the types of issues I'll be pursuing. Will
Dom Perrottet be the next state premier?
Look, it looks that way. I mean, I'm not going to be part of that party room moving forward. So, I'm friends with Rob and Dom, both great guys. But we've lost an incredible champion and one who had an incredibly big heart in Gladys. This is not going to be, they're not going to be easy shoes to fill. But I know Dom behind the scenes, having worked with him in hundreds and hundreds of meetings over the years, super intelligent, very considered. He's passionate about his politics and the state, and I think that's half the thing you need. And beyond that, I think the community will give him an opportunity to settle in. That said, though, he hasn't got much time because the pandemic is just taking up so much for everybody. And if you look at the last 18 months in terms of what Dom's been doing, I think last year we actually gained 30,000 jobs in New South Wales in the middle of a pandemic. I think we'll rebound back out of the current lockdowns incredibly strongly. In fact, in my region, we're very excited about having a fantastic summer and a lot of tourists and getting our small businesses back on their feet. So Dom will be there as part of that and driving that. He's obviously, I think, as I understand it, Matt Keane is being earmarked as treasurer, and he comes from an incredible accounting background. He'll move from his focus environment to obviously focus on the financial numbers of the state. It'll be a very, very, very big deficit that they'll have to contend with. But, I've got every confidence in them, and having worked alongside these guys for a long time, I think they'll do well.
Well, yeah, with Dom in there, do you think, and we know that he's very much pro-business, do you think that there would be a rapid push for a further relaxation of rules?
Look, I have to be honest, no. Having sat in crisis cabinet, Kerry Chandler's giving the best of advice, and pleasingly, we're starting to see the numbers lower in terms of the caseload every day. And if they lower every day, that means less people being hospitalised and less people on ventilators in ICUs. But we've got to be careful. I mean, you can't rush these things. We're seeing the vaccination rate, even in my region here, we're at 95% first dose vaccination, but people are not fully covered till they get that second dose. And that's why it's important that we do see people booking for the second doses and not be complacent about this. So, look, it's a roadmap, I think, that works for everyone and gives certainty. I think the big thing for us as a community is getting our kids back to school, getting our small businesses open, but it's got to be done very carefully.